Hey everyone, this is Josh at MusicLesson.com. We are going to be talking today about how to hold my violin. Okay, now let's do a recap. Okay, we've talked about our shoulder rest in the parts of the violin. I use a shoulder rest. I do not play my violin without a shoulder rest. That's me. There's a lot of people that play it without a shoulder rest. I find that it just offers me much more support. It allows me to hold the violin a little bit more easily and, believe it or not, give more freedom to my fingering hand. Okay, so that's why I like to use it. Now that we've got the shoulder rest on, that's the first part. Now let's talk about holding the violin. Okay, we talked about holding the bow. Let's talk about holding the violin. Notice that the shoulder rest is going to contour my shoulder. Okay, so I'm going to place that up here on my neck, or on my shoulder rather. Okay, and now notice I'm going to be putting my chin on the chin rest. This part of the chin is going to sit in the indentation on my chin rest. Okay, do not put your head sideways. Okay, I mean, trust me, you'll see people that do that. What ends up happening is you hit your jawbone though. Okay, and that jawbone sits there, and that can actually be quite painful. So I tell people to take your chin and point it more towards the scroll. It's not going to be directly straight in line with the scroll, because this is the angle that your chin is going, but it's going to be more towards the scroll than this. This would be a straightforward chin. We don't want that. It's going to hurt. Excuse me. It's going to hurt our jawbone. Okay. So chin on the chin rest. There you go. More towards the scroll. All right. Now I've got my violin. This allows me to hold the violin very freely and very easily. Okay. And a good violin is going to be relatively light, so it doesn't get too much pain on your shoulder. Okay. Or on your chin rather, in your neck. Okay. Now notice my neck is generally upright. I don't really change it very much. Okay. If you are leaning your neck forward, or if you're really leaning your neck over, we've got problems. Either the violin's too far out. Okay, if I have to do this, or the violin is too far forward over your chest, because you want the violin more on your shoulder, and then you bring the shoulder forward. Okay. So you're going to put the violin on the shoulder. Put the chin on the chin rest. Bring the shoulder forward. Okay? Bring the shoulder forward. Now, let's look at your hand. This is my right hand. This will be your left hand as a right-handed violinist. Remember, I play left-handed. Okay? Now, notice my wrist. My wrist is slightly bent. Okay? That's what I mean by a straight wrist. Yeah, just don't worry about it. Don't think about it. That's what I mean by a straight wrist. Okay? It's slightly bent. Okay, notice how my fingers are nice and curved above the fingerboard. Important things to remember. This knuckle right here. This is going to be on the side of the neck. Okay, on the side of the neck of the violin. All right. If it's not, if your hand is, for example, if your hand is not showing any space there between the two of them, then we've got problems. This is when the knuckle is on the side of the neck of the violin. Notice the thumb is not terribly high either. That's going to be a problem as well. We don't want that. Okay, so knuckle right here. Okay, and then you end up getting this nice action right here. Fingers go down on the tips or near the tips, nearly on the tips, bent slightly, maybe curved a little bit for the third and the fourth finger, but second and first finger are very much curved and on the tips of the fingers. Okay, this is important for vibrato later on. Very important for vibrato later on. Also, not holding the violin like this is important for vibrato, because this is just going to make you shake your instrument. Okay, when we do vibrato, we actually remove it from the side of the violin just a little bit. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're moving forward. All right, so this is how you would hold your violin right here. Okay, this is how you would hold the violin right here. Let's get another side shot of that, or a back side shot of that rather. All right, so you can see this. Okay, now one final thing, actually two final things. One, your violin is naturally going to be curved at an angle down like this, okay? That's important. You don't want the violin straight vertical like this. You don't want the violin completely flat or backwards like this. That's a problem as well, okay? The other thing is location of your elbow. The elbow is going to be underneath the violin. You do not want it behind the violin. That steals finger length from your fingers, okay? Do not let it be behind the violin. Keep it underneath the violin, okay? All right, you're going to bring the elbow even further forward to get to the G string and the D string. Okay, and just so I can get there nice and easily. All right, okay, does that sound good? The other thing, the last thing is You don't want the violin too high in the air. If the violin's too high in the air, you're pushing it up with your left hand, my right hand, and that we don't want that either. That's bad, okay? Because that means you're supporting it with that hand, which will cause problems for shifting and for vibrato later on. You want to support the violin entirely with the chin and the shoulder, okay? Conversely, we don't want the violin too low. If it's too low, it means we're not pressing down hard enough, and we still have to support it with your left hand, my right hand, okay? All right, hopefully that helped you, and that is how to hold your violin.